I want to talk to you about doulas and the importance of having love and support and constant contact while you're giving birth and the benefits that has for you and your partner, no matter where you decide to give birth. A doula is a really, really good idea to invest your time and your money in. I'm going to tell you a few reasons that some are personal and some are the things I've seen with my patients and some experiences my friends have had. Personally, I had two doulas, one for each birth, separate births, and I'm so glad I did because you never know why or what's going to happen in your birth. And you never know if you're going to completely break down or if your husband's going to back up or your partner's going to get very, very afraid and they're going to need support. So having an extra pair of hands will make you feel safer and more loved while you're in labor, and you really don't know how each labor is going to go. And I am a labor and delivery nurse, and I'm also a family nurse practitioner. So most labor and delivery nurses say, "Oh, I can do this myself." But you never know how you're going to react in labor. And so it's important to have somebody else there just to take over the responsibility. And in the hospital, I saw so many situations where women didn't have doulas and they did. When they did have doulas and they're in natural labor, the continuous presence of somebody in the room calmed the entire situation down and brought a great amount of support to the women that I was working with. Because the nurses, at some hospitals, they only have two patients. But at most hospitals, nurses have up to 2 to 4. Sometimes it depends on how busy the floor is and how regulated the hospital is. And so they're managing all these different women in labor. So it's hard for them. And depending on the nurse, they might not want to be in the room. They don't all consider it their job to be supporting the women by holding them or rubbing their back. When I saw patients get epidurals, I often noticed that the doula wasn't needed anymore. And oftentimes the doula was sent home, or I'd recommend the doula would go home because they just sit there and it creates a more calm environment when it's just the couple when a woman has an epidural. Because there's no longer that need, because the woman usually needs to sleep. So if you're planning on fully getting an epidural, you can rethink this, but it's not a bad idea. But if you do not know what you're going to expect in labor and you know you want to have a safe labor, a doula is a really, really, really good idea. And in my book, Mystical Motherhood, I go over all the benefits of a doula, all the studies that have shown, what they do statistically for a hospital and for a family, and some just general overview of what you can expect from them and the price that they usually cost. Some basic things that you should understand is it shortens the duration of a labor, especially with a first-time mom. It can reduce the percentage or the statistic of a C-section. I think I believe, if I remember from my book, 50% the stat of a C-section goes down, or the likelihood. It saves the healthcare world or the healthcare system $2 billion a year by having a doula. That's huge because interventions go down because the woman feels safe and she can give labor naturally and doesn't have the fear come up that causes interventions to actually occur during the hospital time. And it reduces the amount of anesthesia the woman needs to receive with continuous presence because she no longer is in fear. In my book, Mystical Motherhood, I created a list of questions you can ask a doula or a midwife. They're very, very valuable. So when you're interviewing somebody, you can get to know who they are as a person and if they would match with you. And what you can expect a doula to do is, everyone's a little bit different. Some doulas will touch, like a lot of safe touch where they can rub your back. Some doulas are off. They don't necessarily need to be, touching you, but their presence just makes you know that there's another woman in the room that makes you feel comfortable and safe. In my situations, I had 2 home births, and my doulas, we went very quickly, and on my first one particularly, and my doula called the midwife to come. I was 8 centimeters. If she wouldn't have done that, I don't know what would have happened because I couldn't think, and my husband didn't know what was going on, and we were at home. And for the second birth, I had her come very early and she just held my hand the whole time. So we walked the streets and we were together and I just felt like I just had a friend with me. And so it's different than a partner. If you have a male partner, it's a completely different experience to be surrounded by women. If you have any more questions, please contact me at mysticalmotherhood.com. You can follow us online. I'm always putting out new information, and I have an entire guidebook for new and experienced moms to create conscious motherhood and an enlightened and brilliant child. You can find this on Amazon at Mystical Motherhood. Subscribe if you'd like to find out more.